this is Dr. Charlotte with Alpine Fit Physical Therapy in Boulder, Colorado. Today we're going to be talking about the shoulder complex. So I'm going to use our skeleton Boniver to help me demonstrate this. If you look over on this shoulder, you can see that there is a lot of ligamentous structures within the shoulder itself. We have ligaments coming off the clavicle to the acromion and also to the glenohumeral joint and the head of the humerus itself. So as a whole shoulder complex, we have the clavicle, the humerus, and the scapula. All of these things need to be working in unison to make sure that we have a shoulder complex that's functioning correctly. So now focusing on the shoulder joint on this side of our skeleton, you can see that there is a lot of movement in our shoulder joint. The shoulder joint is known as a ball and socket joint, which means that it's really unstable, especially when we're overhead, which is when we tend to see a lot of that pain in our athletes, specifically overhead athletes. For our shoulder to effectively go overhead, there are several moving parts that need to work all in unison. For one, our glenohumeral joint itself has to have the range of motion to go all the way up overhead, but then we also need that muscular support component from the rotator cuff. Another moving piece in the shoulder is the scapula or the shoulder blade. The shoulder blade, as you come overhead, actually rotates up around the rib cage. So if this shoulder blade is adhered to the thoracic wall or the muscles that help that upward rotation are weak, that can cause breakdown as well. Another important component of overhead reaching that is often overlooked is the component of thoracic extension. So you should be able to get at least 30 degrees of thoracic extension in this part of your back to effectively have that overhead motion. Now we're going to go over a shoulder external rotator exercise. So this is a great one for any of our overhead athletes. So if you have a TheraBand, you can simply tie a knot in it and then shut it in a door or tie it to a door handle, but you're going to anchor it so it's about at the level of your wrist. So to set this up, you're going to stand up nice and tall. I want you to think about pinning your shoulder blades down and back, good posture, but also tighten your core so that your ribs aren't flaring out. So once you're in this position, you're going to start with a little bit of tension on the band. Start with your wrist at your stomach. You're going to externally rotate out to a neutral position. From here, you're going to hold that external rotation as you bring that shoulder up to 90 degrees of shoulder flexion, back down, and then to the stomach. Out, up, and as you come up, I want you to focus on keeping your elbow and your wrist in line. Don't let your elbow flare out and your wrist come in. You're actively resisting that shoulder external rotation as we come into a functional shoulder pattern. Another great shoulder exercise to work on the upward scapular rotation for our overhead athletes is a wall angel. So to do this, I want you to stand up nice and tall against a wall. Think about pinning your shoulder blades down and back and engaging your posterior scapular chain. From here, you're going to then do a wall angel while holding those shoulder blades down and back. So the key to focus on when you're doing this is as you come up, you're not going to let one of these shoulders come up like this. I want you to keep them nice, even, and down as you do this wall angel.